Hey, welcome back to Tactics Talk with Guido. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your support. On this episode, we're going to talk about mediums. We're going to talk about medium tactics and how to flow from engagement to engagement. I'm going to show you some of the things mediums can do that heavies may have a harder time doing, like flanking, getting multiple shots in because the reload is shorter, and flexing around the map. Loaded into Arctic region in my KV-13 Russian Tier 7 medium tank. Playing this tank right now because I'm trying to get it back above 50%. When I went through it long time ago, I wasn't so good. I've actually accomplished that, and this is one of the better games that I had right here. No artillery in this game, so I'm going to head down to the southeast, and we're going to fight down here in the heavy area. Now, as I look at the loadout that we've got coming at us, I am concerned about the WZ. I will have trouble with him if he does show up down low, which is where I'm going. The O1s will blap the snot out of me. That's a danger, but I have a lot of doubt that they're going to get to that lower area that I'm going to, so I really don't think they're going to be a problem. The WZ could be, but let's see what happens here. I'm going to go down here, and somebody asked me earlier on one of their comments on one of my earlier videos, was talking about why I go to these spots with mediums. Now, I don't always go to these kind of spots with mediums. The meta, most people anyway, think the meta is to put the lights and the mediums up here into the north. And that is fine if you can generate a push or if you can generate some kind of flanking maneuver down around here, but it's not so good if you get stagnated and play peekaboo up here and peekaboom and whatnot, and you're not down here with your gun in the game. So I do tend to take my mediums into where the heavies meta, quote unquote, air quotes, happens to be, just so I can add my gun into the game, harass the heavies, take a lot of their hit points if I can, that kind of thing. I'm also happy, as I announced earlier, that there's no artillery, so that's another reason why coming down here doesn't bother me too much, because I'm not going to get blapped by artillery. Mediums are more susceptible to the blapping by artillery, and if you come down to where the heavies are brawling and you just stack up with the heavies, then you're just asking to get hit as well, but there isn't any artillery in here. There's ways to minimize it, all that good stuff. So let's get going again, all that babble going on. I have a T20 coming in. So one thing about mediums right off the bat, so the first thing we'll talk about, is that they can get to points like this on the map for early damage faster than heavies can. And depending on where you spawn and how fast your tank is, you can get there first. Get settled in and wait for somebody to be foolish enough to come around the corner. A T20 is a pretty zippy tank, but he may have got delayed, or he may have had a bad spawn, maybe all the way on the left of the spawn or up towards the north. Whatever the case may be, I have beaten him to this corner. So you do need to pay attention on how fast the enemy tanks are, because I may have come around this corner and found a really fast tank down there. The other thing, though, I know about most players is their passives, so I doubt any of them are going to come down. If one gets there, good on him, and I might eat a shot. That's why you want to come around zoomed in and take a look. So let's see what this T20 does, and he looks like he's coming fast. You'll notice that I zoomed out and zoomed back in. What I wanted to do by zooming out is see his marker and what it was doing. It was still tracking right to left at a high speed, so I'm pretty sure he's going to come right around here and let me do this like a dat. So I hit him, I pull back, and he's moving back. I'll come out and take one more shot. The reason I did that is because he was moving, so his dispersion circle is going to be quite large. Because I'm a medium and I reload quickly, I was able to go ahead and pop out there and take that shot. Unfortunately, I ended up missing the snap, but I did get the shot. And now I've given him a slight advantage here, though, because he is able to poke around and zoom in, and he's waiting for me to come around. You'll notice that I sit here for a moment because I was still lit by him. If I'd have started creeping forward before he disappeared, he would have seen me coming and been ready. So what I'm trying to do now is make him have a little bit of a question in his cranium about what exactly is going to happen here. I am checking 6. You'll see that I've done this multiple times. I want to see what my friends are doing. Are they going to come down and help me? I do that to bait the shot. So I just barely put a corner out. I didn't even actually bring my turret around, so I wasn't able to spot him, but he certainly saw the front of my tank. Pulled back and then just crept forward a little bit trying to bait that shot. And now I am able to take the initiative on this corner. I have the advantage because I get to sit here zoomed in. I am paying attention up top on the minimap. This is a dangerous spot if there's a lot of arty in the game. You can get splashed right here, but fortunately there isn't any, so I get to sit here and wait for the T20 to do his thing. Now I see the WZ, he's coming down, and we'll take a shot on him, unfortunately on his top. But meanwhile, my friends have pulled in behind me, and now I'm going to do the next thing that mediums are very good at. Take a shot on him on the run, go right by him, and turn around and blap him. Sometimes it just takes one guy pushing forward before the gates break open and the rest of everybody else gets brave. Now I saw all of them coming down here, so we really have an advantage. It's time to clean these guys up. Notice that the T-20 is turning and running and his turret's not even pointed at me. I noticed that, and I'll just come around and get that free shot on him. And now cautious again. This is a corner you would have to watch yourself if there was any artillery. And I figured there might be somebody coming around that corner, so I didn't go blazing around it. I find that guy, bounce a shot. The KV-13 is wonderfully bouncy. You'll notice this time as I come around that I notice he went up. He's still trying to get away. He gets tracked, and his turret was pointed back towards the prototype. I actually saw him fire, so I'll just push right into him, take a shot as I go, hide myself right here under this terrain. He's not even looking at me anymore, and we'll take him down. The Hellcat. I don't even care about the Hellcat. There's no reason to engage him. He's basically taken himself out of the game because he can't get anywhere from down there. I'm just going to come up here and start farming hit points, well, eventually anyway, off of the Tiger and the Tiger P up here. I do have to watch because there are TDs. Now, this is an interesting thing, and I've had this happen several times today. Let's talk about the meta on this map instead of just the maneuvering of a medium. And there goes that Hellcat. He's dying. He can't even get around that corner. The TDs are going to sit up here quite often, and the northeast spawn has an advantage if you do what we just did. It's pretty easy to push them out of that lower area and come around this corner. Problem is, once you get up in here, you're swept by fire from TDs up there, the guys hiding around the corner here, and potentially other stuff hiding out way back here. So once you win this area, just bulling your nugget straight forward like a bull, lowering your head, put your horns forward, and pushing in here is dumb. There's no reason to do it. So watch what we do here, and then watch what my team does. I get a little salty, and I do break one of my rules and talk in chat, but let's see what happens here. Tiger's getting shot from multiple directions, so he's not having a good day. There's the Tiger P, gets a piece of me. I'm out of my gold rounds. I placed that one a little better. I'll wait for him right here, take him down, and there goes the Tiger P. You'll notice that I'm not even going to bother with pushing in on those guys right there. There's just no reason to do it. It's asking to get hammered. And oh, by the way, we have an issue going on up in the north. Now, one of the reasons is because I didn't take my tank up there. So we were a little bit light, but that's fine. I know I have the mobility. So I am going to go ahead, help win the southeast, turn around and go back to the cap. Clean up whatever's up there in the north, and then we'll worry about the dopey TD sitting on the TD hill. If the T-29, T-34, and Churchill had just turned around and come with me, those TDs would sit there basically uselessly. They're out of the game. At this point, they're out of position. Unfortunately, the T-29, 34, and Churchill are letting the TDs be in position by pushing on them. There's no reason to push strong positions like that when you don't have to. We'll get to that later. Let's clean up these clowns over here, and then we'll worry about those TDs who are really just sitting there camping. Now, I will say that they do a decent job. There's 4 tanks. I forgot about the M6 down there. So let's talk about mediums again. I push up here. I can see that A44 moving, so I'm going to use some of this terrain right here, and I'm just looking to get right into his front sprocket. It's something I've tried to work on a lot more, is tracking people. I go after that turret, but I don't really have a great accuracy on this gun, and I miss it. I make one of my bigger mistakes of the game here. After I get rid of him, I'm able to actually get into his sprocket again. Kind of lucky there, and I just can't quite get him. Looks like he actually had his kit. He was saving it, and he used it. And the mistake is I come around this corner, and I think I'm just going to kill this A44. I think I'm Johnny Badass, but nope. And I get very lucky that I actually bounced the WZ-111-1FT, which oddly is pointing over here at me and not at the tanks that are pushing up on him. Alright, so now I've got me and my friend here. I'll come around, try to stay out of his way as best I can. Tuck up in here, and now let's see if we can start working on the KV-2. The depression on this tank's not great. You can see that I jacked my gun up because I hit that little rise right there, so not great micro positioning on my part. KV-2 realizes he's in trouble. He's got to push and do something, but he ends up dying. And we got this pretty well in hand. Those guys actually do well over there, so they do at least deal with those TDs. And now I'll do something else that a medium is quite good at, and that's circle. Now the bummer is an AT-8 fires quite quickly, and he's got enough traverse here. What I should have done, and unfortunately I auto-aimed this guy, what I should have done is zoomed in slightly and tried for a tracking shot. There's no way I was really going to pin him in the front right there, and it's kind of hard to hit that top turret thing. I got my buddy here that's going to start shooting him in the back, but I might have got that tracking shot in there, but I didn't try to do it. I'll just kind of come up on here, and then that's just something mediums can do. You know, they can climb up walls and get around. I come up there. I'm actually up on top of him, so I create some damage from ram damage, essentially, from sitting on top of him. And then a couple more shots, we take him out. I missed the damage on the WZ. I went the long way. I'm going to continue heading around this way. I'll just show you what I'm doing. I wish I'd have just turned around. I maybe would have had a shot. Probably not, because I think he's below the ridge there, but that goes into the trying to get all the hit points you can. If I'd have just spun around, I might have had a shot faster than I was going to on this side, but the thing dies pretty quickly. So as I said, 2,801 damage, 1,580 blocked, which is actually pretty funny. The KV-13 actually has some pretty good armor for a tier 7 medium. It's not something you're going to rely on. You're not going to pop out and say, you can't pen me because I have great medium armor or anything like that. But occasionally you'll get those ridiculous bounces, a la the WZ thing that bounced off of me there. And 369 on the spotting, ends up being an ace tanker with 4 kills. All right, man, I hope this helped you a little bit with medium tactics. Just remember, use that mobility, use that fast-firing gun to your advantage, and flow from engagement to engagement with the medium. Make sure remember that you've got mobility, so if you need to go back to the cap, you're the guy to do it. All right, guys, like I said, hope you like what you saw. If you did, make sure you subscribe, and as always, we will see you.